Hello, everyone. At this particular time, Ballotti scholars would have been in a room with a panel presenting their research. However, because of the actual situation, the research symposium will be held this way. I hope that you will enjoy this presentation, and please leave any comment or question in the comment section. My name is Jainaba Awanyai, and today I'm going to talk about big data technology in education, precisely the enhancement of learning experience with students and faculty. So for our table of content, first I'm going to talk about the purpose of tutoring centers and how the use of big data technology can be beneficial to them. And while talking about big data, I'm going to explain how to extract and interpret the data in order to answer any question that you might have. At the same time, I'm also going to talk about the constraints and solutions of the use of big data technology in education. So first, what is the purpose of tutoring centers? As you all know, not every student will understand a concept right away. So it's very important that they have a place where they can go to for further help. Tutoring centers are then here to reinforce learning concepts, skills introduced in the classroom, and they are also here to guide students to be independent learners. What is then the approach of big data technology in education? As you all know currently, the only performance measurement of students is the answer to assignment and exams. By using big data technology in education, it will facilitate personalized education and improve learning. It will also enable educators to evaluate the structure of their courses and also the effectiveness of their teaching assessment processes. Now, by treating the educational data from different perspectives for stakeholders like professors, students, academic faculty, big data analytics can help develop new learning strategies and improve student academic performance. Now, how to do that? You have to use analytics. What are the different types of analytics? First, you have learning analytics. Learning analytics focus on decision-making concerning achievement on specific learning outcomes. So the purpose of learning analytics is to understand and optimize learning and the environment in which it occurs. The main job is then to measure, collect, analyze, and report data about learners and their context. When talking about academic analytics, it focuses on decision-making, but regarding procedures. So academic analytics focuses on universities and campus services. It's then about reporting, modeling, and analyzing data to support decisions. When talking about visual analytics, it's like the icing on the cake. It can be used in learning as well as in academic analytics, and it's just about the analytical reasoning, supporting by interactive visual interfaces. Now, after knowing what kind of analytics we have, how do we extract the data? Now, this might look difficult to understand, but I will do my best to simplify it. So first, to extract the data, you have two approaches. You have either the data-driven analytic approach or the need-driven analytic approach. When talking about the data-driven analytics approach, it focuses mainly on the data and the technique to collect, store, clean, secure, and process them, as you can see in step 1 and step 2. Then the engine will predict trends and suggest actions that may be accurate or precise. And as the name indicates, this approach is data-driven. So the techniques are very much complex and they can just be mastered by data analysts. Then at the end, you will have visual analytics that will help you with your questions, your response, and your action, as you can see in step 3. Now, talking about the need-driven analytics approach, the approach starts from the need for a decision, as you can see in step 1 and step 2. And it goes through the analysis of relevant data which could support the decision, as you can see here in step 3. Every detail is important. You have your stakeholders, the professors, the instructors, the student, the institutions. You also have the particular need. The particular need might be the questions that you want the analytics tool to answer. So for example, you have a class, you want to know what are the gaps that the student have concerning that particular class for a specific chapter, for a specific section, for example. So the analytics engine will then select, prepare, and assess the data, as you can see in step 4. Now at the end, in step 4, the engine will either provide an answer to your first question, or the engine will re-enter a more precise question and restart the analytics process. So in order to help the stakeholders, like tutors, professors, or students, discover either new ways to structure their classes or the gaps of the students so that they can reinforce the understanding of a concept, after the extraction of the data, you have to interpret it, right? Now for the interpretation of the data, let's take an example. So in the preparation phase of a course, a professor wants to discover the actual gap that his students have for a specific chapter. You know then that we are dealing with learning analytics. Learning analytics will help the professor to recognize the learning objectives that are not properly addressed. It will also recommend him more proper teaching activities and also recommend him alternative proposals to design suitable activities fitting this particular class. These different results can be available to various stakeholders like students, professors, and tutors. Here you have a real-life example of a program that offers that, and it's called Apex Learning. Apex Learning is located in Washington. Apex Learning create digital learning solutions that help middle, high school, and virtual learning environments. Instead of a midterm report, students can continually track their progress. Teachers have access to real-time data that provides updated information for adapting lesson plans to the student needs. Also, it will provide educators with the data to back up how students are progressing across all of their classes. Whether they are mastering a subject or need more attention, Apex will help the teacher personalize the education process. A real-life example in a school is the Santa Ana High School. They needed a digital curriculum that could be integrated into existing learning programs, and they use Apex Learning. The result was that they were able to alter their curriculum to fit the need of their students, and the school even boosted 100% graduation rate for the class of 2016. Now, when talking about academic analytics will support the decision makers to identify the gaps and the needs of what is possible to improve. It will also monitor the ongoing process of the decisions that were made. A real-life example of a program that will use academic analytics is Panorama Education. Panorama Education is located in Boston, Massachusetts, and is a management platform for administrators and school districts to support student learning skills. They will track progress and improve communication between school, teachers, student, family, staff. The data in Panorama provide a whole view of each student, from attendance and classroom behavior to academic performance. The platform provides insights that help identify at-risk students early and help educators support students in areas that they need. A real-life example is New Bedford Public School. They are using Panorama Education to help them understand where improvement needs to be made and where their students are succeeding. Now, we are going to talk about the constraint and solution of the use of big data analytics. So for our obstacles, first, we have the complexity and variability of conceptual domain. like English. If you are comparing mathematics with English, for example, mathematics are conceptual but also practical. You can use both. So if you are going to ask a question to the analytics engine about something for a math class, you will the data that you will enter will be more easier than if you are going to talk about something in English, because it's pretty much conceptual. You also have the complexity of identifying the relevant data which require knowledge. On top of that, you have the reality of educational technologies only reflecting parts of the teaching and learning experiences. It just means that we shouldn't rely 100% on big data technology in education. We also have to continue to assess the student knowledge with exams, with quiz, and also the most important part is to talk to students. For our solutions, you should explore data from multiple angles. Instead of just having one perspective, you have to have an open mind and look at all of the angles where you can have data and where you can extract them and interpret them to have the better result. You also have to find the most appropriate form of analysis that fits the research goal. And last, look for repeated patterns in the data rather than just relying on statistical significant tests alone. So in conclusion, if we take again the example of if your question were that you are working on was about the student understanding on a specific section of a chapter, by using a big data technology, the tutor will be able to have more insight to help the tutee. The tutor will also have more knowledge on the section the tutee is struggling on and the method recommended. This is the end of my presentation. I hope that you are not lost with all of the big stuff on how to extract the data, to interpret it, and the different analytics. And then I hope that it just enlightens you on the apport of big data technology in education. I would like to thank the CLAS faculty as well as my mentor and professor, Laurie Zouharis, for helping me with this project. Thank you very much. Please leave your questions and comments below, and I will be happy to answer them.